Welcome back to Fairy Garden Discoveries, where STEM takes flight. On a quiet morning in the fairy garden, Amelia lifted her flute and played a single note. The music didn't stay with her. It drifted through the air, brushed the ground, and slipped between leaves and stone. Today, Amelia and her friend Thrum will discover that sound doesn't stand still. It travels, changes, and connects everything it touches. Amelia loved mornings that began with music. She sat beneath the wooden garden arch, where climbing vines curled overhead and the air smelled softly of dew and flowers. The garden was still waking, and Amelia held her flute gently, waiting for the right moment. When she played, the sound drifted outward like a ribbon, curling through the air and brushing past leaves, petals, and stones. "Music likes to travel," Amelia said quietly. Nearby, a small creature named Thrum bounced on his springy legs. He had twitchy antennae, quick feet, and very strong opinions. "It's not traveling," Thrum declared. "It's racing, and I can race faster." Amelia smiled but kept playing. The notes floated away from her, growing softer as they moved farther into the garden. Bees paused mid-buzz. Flowers leaned slightly as if listening. Thrum dashed ahead, then stopped. "I still hear it." He ran farther. "Now I don't." Amelia lowered her flute. "Sound moves through the air as waves," she explained. "The farther they go, the more they spread out." Thrum crossed his arms. "So it's not slow, it's just polite." Amelia laughed. "Exactly." Amelia lifted her flute again and played a long, gentle note. The sound flowed outward, filling the space between trees before thinning and fading. Thrum stood very still, listening as hard as he could. "It's getting quieter," he whispered. "That's because sound spreads as it travels," Amelia explained. "When sound waves move through the air, they stretch out." She played again, this time louder. The note carried farther, reaching the far edge of the garden before dissolving. "Bigger vibrations make stronger waves," Amelia said. "Stronger waves travel farther." Thrum ran in a wide circle, ears tilted. "So sound doesn't disappear. It just gets tired." Amelia nodded. "That's a good way to think of it." She placed Thrum's tiny foot near the flute as she played another note. Thrum jumped. "It tickles." "That's vibration," Amelia said. "When I play, the flute vibrates. The air vibrates too. Sound is made of moving vibrations." Thrum stared at the flute. "So music is wiggly air." "Yes," Amelia said warmly, "very wiggly." Amelia stopped playing and rested her fingers against the flute. "Sound always begins with something moving," she said. "A string, a breath, a tap." She tapped the flute lightly. Tap. Thrum leaned closer. "I felt that before I heard it." "That's because vibrations move fast," Amelia said. "They push through the air." She played a low note, slow and steady. Thrum closed his eyes, feeling the sound ripple past him. "It feels bigger," he said. "Low sounds make larger vibrations," Amelia explained. "They travel differently than high sounds." Thrum tilted his head. "So sound has shape." Amelia smiled. "It does." She played a quick high note next. It skipped lightly across the garden, disappearing quickly. "That one ran away," Thrum exclaimed. "It spread out faster," Amelia said. "High sounds don't always travel as far." Thrum thought carefully. "So sound changes depending on how it starts." "Yes," Amelia said, "and where it goes." Thrum nodded slowly. "I am definitely not outrunning this." Amelia stood and tapped her foot gently against the stone path. Tap, tap. Thrum froze. I felt that. Sound doesn't only travel through air, Amelia said. It can travel through solid ground too. She knelt and placed her flute against the earth, then played a low note. The ground hummed faintly beneath them. Thrum pressed his ear to the soil. It sounds closer down here. That's because sound often moves faster through solid objects than through air, Amelia explained. The vibrations have less space to spread out. Thrum gasped. The ground is cheating. Amelia laughed. It's just different. She stomped gently once more. Thrum felt the vibration immediately before the sound reached his ears. Whoa, he said. The sound arrived early. Different materials carry sound in different ways, Amelia said. Air, ground, and objects all guide it differently. Thrum lay flat on the path, listening intently. So sound takes shortcuts. Sometimes, Amelia said softly, and Thrum realized that music wasn't just something you heard, it was something you could feel. Amelia lifted her flute again and played a low, steady note while standing on the stone path. The sound rolled outward, deep and warm. Thrum felt it in his feet before he heard it with his ears. Hey, he said, hopping, that arrived early. That's because sound can travel faster through solid ground than through air, Amelia explained. The vibrations move more easily when things are packed closely together. She tapped the stone with her heel. Tap! And Thrum jumped again. It's like the ground is whispering secrets. Amelia smiled. The ground carries sound as vibrations. When you stand on it, you can feel the sound move. Thrum pressed both feet firmly onto the path. So if I want to hear better, I should listen with my toes? Amelia laughed. Sometimes, yes. She played again, pressing the flute gently against the stone. The sound felt stronger now, closer. Thrum lay flat, ear to the ground. Okay, this is definitely louder down here. Different materials guide sound differently, Amelia said. The ground doesn't weaken it the same way air does. Thrum sat up slowly. I think sound just found a shortcut. Amelia led Thrum to a wooden bench and tapped it lightly with her flute. Talk. Then she tapped a metal watering can. Clang. Thrum jumped. That one shouted. Metal carries sound very well, Amelia said. The vibrations travel quickly and strongly. She tapped a hollow log next. Thunk. Thum. Thrum's eyes widened. It talked back. That's because hollow objects let sound bounce inside them, Amelia explained. The vibrations echo. Thrum hopped excitedly. So objects don't just carry sound, they shape it. Yes, Amelia said. Wood, metal, and stone all change how sound moves. Thrum tapped everything he could reach. Bench, fence, pot, log. Tap, 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 tap. Scientific testing, he announced. Amelia laughed. You're experimenting. Thrum paused, listening carefully now. Every object has its own sound. And sound tells us what things are made of, Amelia said. Thrum nodded solemnly. Sound is very informative. Thrum decided it was time to prove something. I will follow the sound, he declared. Amelia played a bright note and walked slowly away. The sound bounced off the fence, slid along the bench, and softened in the open air. Thrum ran after it. I hear it. I hear it. Amelia kept walking. Thrum slowed. Still hear it. Farther still. Barely. Then nothing. Thrum stopped. It vanished. Amelia turned back. It didn't vanish. It spread out. She played again from a distance. The sound was faint now. Sound waves move outward in all directions, Amelia explained. The farther they travel, the weaker they become. Thrum sighed. Distance wins again. Amelia smiled kindly. Sound can only travel so far before it fades. Thrum sat down. I officially surrender to physics. Amelia laughed. Physics is very patient. Amelia played softly now, letting the music skim the garden. The sound drifted through air, buzzed through stems, rolled across the ground. Thrum closed his eyes and listened. It feels different everywhere, he said quietly. That's because sound travels through many paths at once, Amelia explained. Air, ground, and objects all guided in their own way. A bee buzzed past, leaves rustled, a distant bird called. Sound is always moving, Amelia said, even when we're not making music. Thrum whispered, I never noticed that before. Amelia lowered her flute. Listening carefully helps us understand the world. Thrum nodded. Sound isn't just something you hear. It's something you feel, Amelia said. And for the first time all day, Thrum sat perfectly still, listening as the garden sang back. Amelia lifted her flute and played a clear, steady tune while standing near the garden arch. The notes floated outward, brushing past the flowers and slipping between the trees. Thrum listened closely, ears perked, legs ready. I hear it, he said. Amelia took a few steps back and played again. The sound was softer now, thinner at the edges. I still hear it, Thrum said, squinting. She walked farther and played once more. This time, the sound barely reached him. Now it's gone, Thrum said quietly. Amelia lowered her flute. Sound can only travel so far before it fades. The farther it goes, the more it spreads out. Thrum frowned thoughtfully. So, distance stretches sound until there's not enough left. That's right, Amelia said. The energy spreads out as sound waves move away from their source. Thrum nodded. Distance wins again. Amelia smiled. Distance doesn't stop sound, it just changes how we hear it. Thrum looked down the path where the music had been. I guess even sound needs a rest. Amelia moved toward a stone wall at the edge of the garden. She played a bright note and waited. The sound traveled forward, then bounced back. Thrum jumped. It came back. That's an echo, Amelia said. When sound waves hit a hard surface, they can reflect. She played again, this time louder. The echo returned more clearly. Sound waves bounce like balls, Amelia explained. Smooth, hard surfaces send them back. Thrum ran toward the wall and back again. So sound can turn around. Yes, Amelia said, but it takes time. Thrum counted under his breath. 1, 2. Then the echo arrived. Whoa, he said. It's late. Amelia laughed. The farther sound travels, the longer it takes to return. Thrum leaned against the wall, listening carefully. So, echoes tell us how far away things are. They do, Amelia said. Sound gives us clues about space. Thrum nodded. Sound is sneaky smart. Amelia stopped playing. The garden grew still, or almost. Leaves rustled softly. A bee hummed nearby. The ground creaked faintly beneath Thrum's feet. It's not quiet, Thrum whispered. No, Amelia said. Sound is still moving. She closed her eyes and listened. Even when music stops, vibrations continue all around us. Thrum tilted his head. I hear things I never noticed before. That's because listening carefully helps us understand what's happening, Amelia said. The wind moved through the trees, carrying tiny sounds with it. Sound helps us find things, Amelia continued. It tells us where they are, how far away, and what they're made of. Thrum sat down slowly. I thought sound was just noise. Amelia smiled. It's information. Thrum nodded. I like information. The garden felt calm now, full of gentle movement and quiet waves of sound passing through everything. Amelia sat beside Thrum on the stone path and rested her flute in her lap. Sound travels in many ways, she said, through air, through ground, and through objects. Thrum traced a line in the dirt, and it changes depending on where it goes. Yes, Amelia said. Sound waves adapt to their surroundings. Thrum smiled. Just like us. Amelia nodded. Sound teaches us about distance, space, and connection. Thrum looked around the garden. It also teaches us to slow down and listen. Amelia laughed softly. That might be the most important lesson. The last echoes faded and the garden settled into evening sounds, soft, steady, and peaceful. Thrum leaned back. Okay, he said. I'm done racing sound. Amelia smiled. Good. It's much better company when you walk alongside it. As the sun dipped lower and the garden softened into evening, Amelia sat beneath the arch once more, her flute resting quietly in her lap. She looked around at the places the music had traveled that day, the stone path that carried vibrations quickly, the wooden bench that shaped sound, the open air where notes drifted and faded. Sound is always moving, Amelia said softly, even when we can't hear it anymore. Thrum sat beside her, unusually still. I used to think sound was something you chased, he said, something loud that tried to win. Amelia smiled. Sound isn't about winning, it's about connection. She tapped the flute gently, not to play, but to feel the vibration. Sound helps us understand distance, direction, and what things are made of. It tells us where we are in the world. Thrum nodded. And it teaches us to pay attention. Around them, quiet sounds filled the space. Crickets warming up, leaves brushing together, the earth settling beneath their feet. Listening, Amelia said, is just as important as playing. Thrum smiled. I think I finally get that. As twilight deepened and the first stars peeked through the sky, Amelia lifted her flute one last time and played a gentle farewell tune. The sound traveled through the air, brushed the ground, and echoed softly off nearby stones before fading into the night. Thrum listened without moving. When the final note disappeared, he didn't chase it. It went far, he said quietly. Yes, Amelia replied, and it left its mark. They began walking home along the path, their footsteps making soft sounds of their own. The garden continued its gentle music, wind sighing, insects humming, the earth responding to every step. Sound never really stops, Thrum said. It just changes. Amelia nodded. Just like us. Thrum smiled, no longer restless. Tomorrow, I want to listen first. Amelia laughed softly. That's a very good plan. Behind them, the garden rested, full of quiet waves and waiting echoes. And somewhere in the stillness, sound was already traveling, ready to be discovered again.